Not long after the first battle of Geonosis and the beginning of the Clone Wars, Jedi General Anakin Skywalker and his master Obi-Wan Kenobi were sent far into the Outer Rim to negotiate with a very rich and noble Separatist family who were providing resources to Count Dooku's cause. While there, however, Anakin's forces got into a heated standoff with unarmed and defenseless transports where they were fired on and destroyed, killing the whole crew. Anakin didn't order his forces to take the shot, but unfortunately he was framed and punished for war crimes anyway. So before we get into it, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more awesome Star Wars lore content. The story begins high above the Rial Kroon system, where Jedi Master Toulouse Chek is under heavy fire from Separatist Vulture droids, leaving him in an absolutely horrible position. He quickly calls out to his droid R3 to contact the Jedi Temple because the Vulture droids that he has been coming up against are not like the rest. They are highly modified and extremely deadly. Unfortunately, Master Chek's Padawan is dead, his fleet is destroyed, and he has absolutely no way to escape the accurate fire of these modified Vulture droids, meaning that this will be his final ever transmission. As his ship erupts into a massive yellow fireball, the transmission is successfully sent by his astromech, before being received by Chancellor Palpatine and the Jedi. As Anakin realizes that Master Chek has been killed in the battle, he falls into a deep anger, remembering that he was one of the Jedi Order's best pilots. Anakin and Master Chek even went through flight training together. Palpatine, of course already pulling Anakin's strings from this early in the war, offers his sympathies to the young Jedi and tells him that this war has claimed far too many good men. Following this, Obi-Wan tells the group that he has studied Master Chek's transmission carefully, and it appears that these new Vulture droids are equipped with advanced engines manufactured by the Valahari people in the Outer Rim. Anakin then adds to this by saying, "The Valahari people build some of the best ships in the galaxy if they've joined the Separatists." Windu, however, cautions Anakin, telling him that the Valahari claim to be neutral in the war. Palpatine, however, chimes in, noting that the noble houses of the Valahari sector have always caused trouble for the Republic. Because they have huge amounts of money and almost unlimited influence, they think they have special status. Following this, Palpatine rises from his seat and declares that the Republic must take a stand. All neutral worlds that trade with the Separatists, give them aid, or help them in any other way will now be treated as enemies of the Republic. Finally, Palpatine orders a blockade of every single neutral planet that has ever helped the Separatists. In response to this, Mace Windu agrees, but warns the Chancellor that the Republic fleet is stretched very thin and that the blockades should first focus on those neutral planets who are delivering military supplies and weapons to the Separatists. Obi-Wan, on the other hand, suggests that they try diplomacy first and speak with the royal family on Valahari, obviously because he is the negotiator. Obi-Wan also spent time there with his master Qui-Gon Jinn back in their younger days, so he believes that he can convince them to stop supplying the Separatists with weapons. Master Yoda then agrees with Kenobi, and Palpatine signs off on the plan on the very strict condition that if the Valahari noble family does not stop selling their engines to the Separatists, the Republic will blockade the planet immediately. As the meeting finishes, Obi-Wan asks Anakin to join him on the mission, but he is a bit reluctant at first, believing that he should be out there avenging his fallen friend's death. With the approval of Master Yoda, Anakin then travels with Obi-Wan to Castle Vane on the planet Valahari, owned by the noble Vane family. As they arrive, they are welcomed by the Vane family butler and are told that they will meet with the head of the family at dinner. Anakin, however, is slightly distracted when he sees one of the locals working on his pod racer. This sends emotions and memories of his childhood on Tatooine rushing back to him. As Anakin walks up to the man working on his ship, he tells Anakin that this ship is the fastest in the sector. Anakin is skeptical at first, but the local named Tophan soon emerges and tells Anakin that he knows so because he built it. Tophan immediately recognizes Skywalker as the great hero of the Republic, with 1,980 starfighter kills. But Anakin brushes this off and says that he hasn't been keeping count. Tophan also recognizes Anakin as the best star pilot in the galaxy, offering to take him out for a pod race, unless Anakin is afraid he might lose. Of course, Anakin is never going to turn down an offer to pod race. The two begin zooming through the mountain forest track, taunting each other and throwing jabs all the way to the finish line, where they can't decide on the winner and agree to have a rematch later on. Following this, Obi-Wan and Anakin are finally brought to dinner with the Vane royal family, led by Lord Harko and his lady Elador. Tophan, the man Anakin just pod raced, and his sister Omi also join the family for dinner. Lady Elidor then tells Obi-Wan that he has grown into a handsome man since the last time she saw him, and Lord Harco adds that the news of Qui-Gon's death was devastating to the Vane family. Following this, Anakin is shocked that Tophin is a member of the royal family, but before they can discuss it much, his sister Omi asks Anakin if he has a wife. Anakin nervously responds to her saying, "No, my lady, the Jedi are forbidden to marry." And surprisingly, this makes Omi sad. Immediately after, Lord Harco pulls a surprise guest out of nowhere, shocking Anakin and Obi-Wan and leading them to pull their lightsabers out. It is Count Dooku. Dooku enters the dining area and greets the entire family, before Lord Harco informs the two Jedi that Count Dooku is an old friend of the family and that they fought side by side when Dooku was still a Jedi Master. Eventually, Obi-Wan and Anakin get to business, telling Lord Harco that they must stop selling starfighter engines to the Separatists. Tophin is outraged by this, but Obi-Wan tells the family that it is a direct order from the Chancellor and that it could be considered an act of war if they don't stop selling. In response to Obi-Wan, Dooku then chimes in saying that many in the corrupt Republic Senate are jealous of Valahari's long-standing tradition of starship engineering and all of the wealth that it brings to their planet. Obi-Wan then tells Dooku that the Republic are concerned because the modified Vulture droids are taking countless lives, but Dooku responds by saying, "And Republic weapons are not." This then leads to a massive argument, with Lord Harco venting his frustration at the unfair Republic taxes and regulation and says he will do what he must for the good of their economy. This infuriates Anakin, sending him into a heated discussion with Tophin about what this war truly means and the countless lives that have been lost to it. 10 rotations later, the Republic blockade finally arrives on Valahari, ready to intercept any incoming freight, transport, or supplies leaving the planet. The Valahari fleet, however, is no longer going to accept the blockade of their planet and is trying to break through. Although defended by fighters, the transport in the center is completely unarmed, defenseless, carrying medical supplies, and will not be able to fight back against any Republic aggression. In response to this, Anakin scrambles his Gold Squadron, but because the transport itself with medical supplies on board is unarmed, he warns his men to only target their thrusters. Obi-Wan orders the Valahari fleet to stand down, but they refuse, leading to the unarmed transport ships being brutally destroyed without even touching any of the fighters, killing everyone on board, including Lord Harco. Anakin of course realizes that this is a war crime, demanding to know who in his squadron fired on the unarmed transport. After hearing back from everyone, however, he discovers that it wasn't any of his men. Anakin has just been framed for a war crime. As the intense battle begins above the skies of Valahari, Tophin and his mother are shocked at the death of Lord Harco, vowing revenge against the Republic. Some days later, Dooku returns to the Vane household, where he expresses his condolences for Lord Harco's death to his son, but slowly works him into joining the Separatist cause permanently. Because of his father's death and his view that the Republic are evil, he joins Dooku's cause and vows to have the Galactic Senate on Coruscant burned to ashes, and badly wants revenge against Skywalker for his actions. While this is going on, Anakin is brought before the Jedi Council, where he pleads with them, telling the Masters that he is innocent and that the Republic fighters were not the ones that fired on the transport. Surprisingly, Mace Windu and the other council members actually agree with Anakin, but because of the politics of the situation, they must punish Anakin publicly. The council then reassigns him to one of the worst sectors in the galaxy, far away from Valahari. Anakin begs Windu not to face punishment, but unfortunately his decision has been made and he will now patrol the sector, which includes the Ryloth system. Obi-Wan wishes to investigate the situation further for Anakin, but Master Yoda warns him to proceed with caution. And to end the story, Commander Tophin has now fully joined the Separatist cause, using brutal tactics such as flinging Jedi starfighters back into their Venator's bridge, killing the Admiral and its crew. On top of this, he commits a war crime himself, firing on defenseless clone trooper escape pods as they eject from the Venator. His citizens then cheer for him, and he vows to get revenge on the Republic and Anakin Skywalker. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.